Hello and welcome to Glebe Gorillas' first podcast. Not only is Naz here, Jimmy, but I've also got Clayton back from his travels for a very special, the first podcast ever. So let's kick things off. I think it's probably what best for us to do is just go around, give a little explanation of who we are, what we do, and why we're doing the pod. Just to give a bit of background, Glebe Gorillas, we're a local... Yeah, you go last, Clayton.
The rest of it's going to be about you. So.
Yeah, we'll get plenty of time to get to Clayton.
Always about Clayton.
Always about Clayton. But why are we doing this? Well, we don't know, to be honest, but Glebe Gorillas, we're a local football, completely player-run, player-owned, from a complete grassroots football. So we thought, why not get in a room and chat about it? Plenty of stories. So, first of all, let me introduce Naz. Naz, bit of background about yourself, how long you've been in the club, how you got involved with it.
Naz Hack, nicknames are Bangladeshi Messi, Naz Accardo, Naz Quick, there's a number of others, thanks Gav Stevenson.
I actually came up with Naz Quick.
Yeah. Oh, was that you there? Yeah. Oh, cheers.
I fed it to Gav in case it was a bit off.
Shit, there's already some exclusives. I'm just doing my intro.
That's what editing's for.
I'm just doing my intro. No, jokes aside, Naz, I've been with the club 3 years. This is the third year now. First year I was in Australia, just got fat and drank. Second year got fat and drank. Yeah. Third year got fat and drank. Fourth year got fat and drank.
There's a club for that. Yeah. It's called Glebe.
So then I thought, yeah, them boys over there look good. No, I've been here 3 years. I think once you get into the club, it's difficult to leave the club. So just grow a good bunch of lads. Love turning up on a Saturday afternoon and evening as well. So that's
sometimes during the game.
During the game, sometimes to training. Yeah, bit of background for me from Newcastle. Generally get kept around the club to keep spirits high. Apart from that, everything else is a bonus, I think, if I get on the pitch. But love the club, always have, and just nice bunch of lads, you know.
Yeah. Spot on. All right. Next up, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
There's a song. All right. Yeah. James Ollerenshaw. I come from Manchester. And I've been in the club around 3 years now, got a bit more involved in the last couple of years. Plagued with injury throughout the last couple of years.
He's injured now.
I'm injured now, yeah.
How did you find the club?
Well, my mate George Tarnold, the old keeper, he was over here for a few years before I got here, but was going through a bit of a rough spell when I turned up from travelling. So that just got me through any trial period and just got straight in the team on a Saturday morning. Great first game, man of the match. Back to Nazis.
Did you get man of the match, yeah?
Yeah, we had the champagne.
Oh, yeah.
Stolen
Was that
from
Maroon?
the.
Let me tell that story after you, but you keep on with your.
Was that Maroubra away?
Yeah, so
I remember that.
You keep on with your intro, and we'll get back to that.
Yeah. So I had a bit of a hill to climb in relationship building after the first night out, but. Yeah, no, the club's unreal. There's a lot of people that come from and are on working holiday visas that know no one, and a week later you've got 30, 40 different friends asking you out and acting like you've known them for a month, a year. We had you on our couch we'll keep that for a story, but Jesus.
I just call it a family. That's a good family.
Yeah. Has anyone got a bed?
Or a sofa?
But yeah, that's how I'm involved, and the podcast is just another addition this year to an already amazing setup.
It's just building
it's the evolution, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just adding to our
Two
cult,
teams,
cult reputation. Last but not least, Clayton. What you got?
Hello. Clayton Humphreys, Clayton Crowder. The man doesn't really know his own last name.
Yeah, that's what I've been wanting to know. What is your name?
It's Humphreys on the passport.
Doesn't know his nationality either, does
No,
he?
so
Pod's got two names.
you'll have a Scottish accent here and an English accent, depending if Jimmy talks, and then I'll just mimic his accent. So, depending on where I go, we don't know. Joined the club through the magical Bruce Scott. Met him on Anzac Day 2 years ago, not far from now. And he introduced me to the club. He said, "Come along." We used to play together back home in Scotland. And yeah, I turned up probably a few games into the season, so I had a lot to prove. Didn't get many minutes, didn't like training, and just happened to be the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of the team. So stamped my name on my team that way. But what a bunch of guys!
Yeah, I remember. Clayton's first season, just last minute winner after last minute winner. But obviously, as a bloke, that's why you're here. Otherwise, we kick you out straight away. But
yeah, exactly. It started off. It kick-started off, and it couldn't have been a better start.
Yeah, quality.
So yeah.
Well,
That's me.
What
That's
about
me.
yourself?
Oh, about myself.
Yeah.
Well, go by many names. Rupert being the one I don't like to use, but Rupdog. Been around the club, I think, 4 years now. Club captain, but don't like to talk about it. Yeah. Just don't mention any other previous captains no, I'm joking. So I think I came to the club same as everyone else. Just sort of when you first arrive in Sydney, you're looking for a community. You're looking for not only somewhere to play football, but more importantly, a group of lads, someone you can form bonds with. And I think, especially with this club, and this is why we're doing this, is because it's more than a football club. It's somewhere where we all come and meet people. And yeah, once you find the Glebe Gorillas, that's it. That's how I find it. And I'm sure it's the same for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great starting point.
I think me and you were in the same trial, right? And it was in Waverley, and me and you obviously going for the same position up front. and with trials, right? With trials, I'm usually pretty good because I've got a nice first touch in that, right? And you can give him you can give him 15 minutes.
False sense of
you know what I mean? You can give him 15 minutes where they think, oh, he's all right, him. But then, as long as they see 15 minutes, they're like, he's all right, and then you can just stop and pull a hammy or something, right?
Oh, I'm the opposite. Don't put me in a trial. Put me in a game.
But then, for the first part of the season, I think it was me and Rupert going for the first team, and then after about 10 games, everyone was like, "Fucking made a horrible mistake here, boys. Get him out of that
10
team."
games.
No, maybe pre-season. I think. I think it's about pre-season when me and you, because we were in the same trials, and then after pre-season, I think everyone was like, "We've made a horrible mistake here, guys," and then give Rupert club captaincy as well, and I was like,
when I threatened to leave.
Yeah, it was me banished.
Yeah, but we'll put you on the
Still
podcast
around.
in 4 years.
Yeah,
time.
I'm still allowed in the podcast though. It's the main thing.
Well, let's talk a bit about. So we're all playing. Well, we're all here first and foremost because we play football. We're playing Eastern Suburbs Football Division.
What a league!
What a league! Some would say possibly the hardest. Probably some would say probably the best league in the world.
I would say
it's up there. But it's amateur football.
Very
All backpackers pretty much. Irish, British, sort of
it's
South American.
British league down under, innit?
So, Naz, kicking off with you, right? ESFA, what we saying? What you think? Who's our biggest rivals? Who the Whipham boys? Give us a bit of a background on the league.
Background of ESFA that I've got. So first of all, I just want to give a big shout out to our sponsor today, the Rocks Brewing Co. They need to get a big old shout out because they're supplying the beers. Because they're supplying the beers next week, and they've sponsored us with a large sum. So
and we're drinking the rivals.
Yeah, we're drinking 4 pints.
And it's pretty decent, to be fair.
Yeah, look, Rocks, pick your game up, lads. 4 pints is going down smooth.
Rocks.
Yeah.
Simon, if you're listening, you need a Pacific Ale. Repeat, a Pacific Ale.
But yeah, in terms of ESFA, I feel like just a little back, go back a little bit. My second year in Australia, I played in a Sunday league team in the pitch next to ours, and it's just your typical everyone turns up still chewing their jaw and you're struggling to put 11 players out, and then the set of strikers going in net and all that stuff. And me and Niall were playing, who plays for Glebe Gorillas as well, and we're like, we need to leave here, boys. So obviously, as soon as you come to ESFA, the standard. The beauty of ESFA is that there's very little Aussies in the league. So it's just really good, British, European,
It's a very good standard.
South American players. Yeah, man. It's top of the real. Because Eastern Suburbs as well. It's you've got, it's better than most suburbs really. I feel like so. In terms of ESFA, the standard has been unreal from what I've seen every year. It's just got better every season. I think, the teams in the league as well, as much as we shit on them, the likes of Coogee, Dunbar, people like that, it's still a lot of respect involved as well, because they're great teams as well. So
very you're a backpacker, all right. Glebe Gorillas.
Yeah.
You're Irish. You're Irish, are you? Right, Ranwick. All right.
Or Phoenix.
Wanker, are you? Coogee, go on.
Yeah. Aussie, Pagewood or Waverley.
Yeah. Or Spanish, Maruba. Go on.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Brazilian
Get out
or
there.
Spanish. Yeah.
But I think, like you're saying, Naz, I think the standard is just good in general, and I think a lot of the lads we've got have played at good standard back at home. And Clayton, you played decent sort of like schoolboy level back in Scotland. How did you find? So Clayton, how do you find playing back in sort of the UK compared to over here? What's it like for you?
I quit for a few years back home. We didn't like the lump ball in Scotland, but I think the standard's great over here. I feel like it is a lot of people with a lot of potential when they're younger, but they've decided to come over for Australia for a better career, a better lifestyle, and they could go further. But you're happy enough where you are. It's a good enough standard to say you're enjoying your lifestyle. You're happy with the boys that you are, and it's proven that the boys can beat higher level of teams and higher standards. So
and you've got a few other levelers like the refs and one linesman.
yeah.
Well, Jimmy, give us a bit more on the refs then. Give a bit of background.
So here we go.
The refs are.
That's what Glebe are all about, eh? The referees.
Yeah.
We love the refs.
Yeah.
Robbie, if you're listening, we love you.
Robbie the one as a sig.
Yeah,
half time.
He's a big guy.
Fakes the red card.
So what Robbie does, you can explain what Robbie
He's an
does.
absolute legend. So Robbie, so a lot of people on our team are gobshites, really. Well, pretty much everyone. So we've got a bad rep in the league, I think, and it comes before us. But Robbie's the one that can deal with us because he just threatens. He just glimpses the red card out to you. So you shut until you shut up. He don't even give you an argument back. Puts it back in and just runs off, and then everyone shuts up.
But you know when you're on the sideline, right, and you see him do it, and everyone knows like the shit house. He's not going to show.
Everyone
cock.
knows it's a bluff.
But in the middle of the game, when the adrenaline's pumping and that, and he does it, you fall for every
time.
single. You're like, sorry, Robbie, I won't do it again.
It's like a step over. He's just done you.
It's unreal. And then
The
at
Gasburn
half
step
time,
over.
yeah,
Fakes you every time. It don't matter when he
that
does
should
it.
have its own feature. Yeah. Step over, sponsored by Gaz Burns. But yeah, also his cigarette at half time is.
I'm not actually sure how to use the bottle opener, to be honest.
Clayton's struggling to use the bottle
This is
opener.
a classic Clayton Humphreys. I'm going to pass it on to Jimmy.
The bottom bit. But I think not just about our team as well.
Thank you.
Because I feel like when you play for a team in S4 whatever, right, and you know the players that are good, and I'm sitting with fucking three like great players, and I know like you boys are good, but it's also about the other teams as well. As much as you give them shit, some of the boys that you see, there's players in every team, right, like especially in like first team, that you just watch them play and you're like, Jesus, like this
They
kid,
can play.
like they've clearly come from like ridiculous background. Like you hear stories that he used to play League of Ireland, or he's come from like League One.
What
or
are you doing here?
and he's just like wandering
changed.
about, and he's just like it's nothing to him. But like Clayton said, he decided to come and have a bit crack and enjoy yourself in Australia. Why not play a bit of footy as well?
Well, just to add to that, I think in terms of how good some players are, we've got players like I was thinking Ian in the team, Dylan signed this season, Des. Reece, quality keeper, but all these players, and they know this as well, have played and could play higher level, and as a club, we don't pay any money. We're expecting lads to pay $500 rego every season. Yeah. There's teams above us who are paying players something like a few $100s a game, sometimes more.
Yeah, easy.
And we're able to compete with them, which is saying something, considering we completely play our own. And don't really offer much.
But I think it's the bond of the team that keeps you there. You don't want to leave Glebe Gorillas. You want to stay there and you want to keep fighting for each other. And that is the best thing about Glebe Gorillas. No matter what the result is on the time on the pitch, you will fight and keep making sure that you get that result level or even win the match in the end. We've been 4-0 behind by half time at some point, so we've got 9 men and we still come away with the win. It's so impressive because everyone fights for each other.
In fact, I remember that, Clay. I think, was it it was a game. I think it was Glebe Wanderers where you got a hat trick, and we were down to 9. Was it that game or was that another game? I can't remember.
No, that was Glebe Wanderers, yeah, in Marubra. I was on the bench at the time, but I can't remember the centre half's name. He got sent off in the first minute.
Wasn't Big Dunk, was it?
Nah, what was the other guy? Because there was Gav Stevenson in centre defensive mid, and then Gav had to go centre half because the other one got sent off.
He was class. Gav Stevenson was decent.
Yeah, what a player.
If he's listening.
Yeah,
yeah.
what a player.
We missed you.
We'll cut
Big
that
man.
out, mate.
Come back.
Cut that out.
Never scored for Glebe, unfortunately.
Shit.
He had his
Defender.
chances. No, started as striker and winger, and then went to centre mid and centre half, and still never scored. But yeah, all kicked off. Tucky got sent off.
Shock.
Brucey Scott was in goals. But a few of the boys got sent off, and I came on with a few minutes to go, and they had a free kick, launched it in. I was stood on the halfway line, and Gaz Burns just launched it, and then I was just through on goal, wrapped it around the keeper, and we won again. And that was just the story of that season. Just
Clayton yet again popping up with another winner.
just a late goal every time.
So the season you scored the whole kick.
Oh,
Save that for a
You might
later
as
pod. We'll have a whole podcast.
We'll-
We'll have a whole episode.
Yeah.
We'll make that like
face, like.
we'll make that like an urban myth that
I will
like,
say
no one
I've,
talks
I've,
about.
I was at
Didn't
Old
happen.
Trafford when Wayne Rooney scored that over a kick,
I
and,
was there
and
as well.
Rupert's was
It was
way
all
better,
right.
way better.
Better.
It was
We'll get
alright.
Rooney on. We'll get Rooney
Yeah,
on.
we'll see
talk
what Rooney
about-
thinks.
I missed
If
it
anyone
though, 'cause I
ever
was asking
videoed
about
that
the
goal
cheese sandwich.
from the other team who were playing that day, send it in, and we'll see if we can get someone on it.
Grassroots goals. What are you saying? Well, let's talk a little bit more about this season currently. We've talked a good game about how good we are, but I think it's fair to say both teams have started pretty poorly.
Yeah, it's been mixed.
Classic
Prems
Glebe.
on it.
Classic
Glebe start slow. I think
Classically,
Naz, as the Resi's representative, throw it to you. Give us a brief overview of how things have started and your overall thoughts.
yeah, I'm fucking throwing everyone under the bus here. Left back shit, right back shit, centre back shit. No. Yeah, just classic Glebe, innit? Like you go through pre-season. One thing about I missed all the pre-season because I was in Italy drinking wine and that because I love wine.
That's
And I missed
That's the reason.
and I missed all the pre-season, right? So obviously, people messaging me like, "Oh, we've got these players, they're class." Like, I'm like,
Did
don't
you ever
worry
get a
about
text
these
saying
boys.
we need you back?
Well, I'm like, people are like, I was like,
Phone
they'll-
broken.
Stay over there for a couple more weeks if you want.
So-
Take your time, Naz. Take your time.
So people-
We've got this covered. Enjoy it.
people are messaging me like, "Lad, no, I'm being serious, lad. There's some boys turned up." I'm like, obviously, I'm thinking they're taking the piss because I'm like, because they're like trying to tell me I'm not going to get in the team, and then I turn up and I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to get in the team, yeah.
No, it's
Sean
serious,
Keenan's
good
back.
players.
We've got these young lads. Everyone's getting younger for some reason, right?
going
And I'm just
underway.
getting slower, right? But I think it's the same for all teams, right? You have a good pre-season, you play games, and everyone's like, we're going to win the league, yeah, it's unbelievable standard. And then you just start slowing it. Like, first game, 3-0 up against Coogee, lose 4-3. Like,
Yeah, how did that happen? Talk me through it. I wasn't there.
No idea.
first half of football.
Dylan came off and left and went work. I think.
Dylan was playing. He's like, "Oh, I've got to go to work half time." I shouldn't have told him because he was like, "You need to tell me when it's like 2:00." And I was toying with whether to tell him or not because like first half we were playing some unbelievable football, 3-0 up, and then I felt really bad. So I was like, "Mate, it's 2:00." He was on the pitch for the second half and he just ran off, and then Niall got injured as he normally does. Lose,
But
4-3.
you'd think 3-0 up, the boys have got this.
Mate, it's one of them. The talent's there. Everyone's class. It's like just
Yeah,
started
that's it.
slow, right?
It's just, and to be fair, it is with every year. The first team, to be fair, has kept the same core this year. There's a few decent improvements, but the second team's new way of playing, new formation. The core of the team is different. Like all the spine
It's
of the
all
team,
changed.
completely different, and that takes a long time for people to settle
To
into.
gel, I
So-
know for
Yeah, to
sure. It's
adapt to it, it's
first few games it was like that, but I think when you know the Resis are good is when you see how good. I mean, when you know the first team's good is when you see how good the players on the Resis as well, right?
Yeah.
And there's some
They
class
push the
players
boys.
in there. Like we won at the weekend, which couldn't have come soon enough, but I think it's just about gelling in that, like trust in play, because you don't know how people play and stuff. So when someone's asking for the ball in space or around tight spots and that, there's not enough trust to give them the ball yet. So
Yeah.
we'll see CBD at the weekend. I think it should be another win, but mate, the players that have turned up that have obviously come to start playing with after not being here has been absolutely ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
How's the managing going?
shite. I'm after the job. I keep telling him as well. First mistake, I'm pouncing, but I feel like I've still got a year left in us. Do you know what I mean? I've got a year left. No, Brad's mate. Big appreciation to Brad, because John, all the shit house, I hope he's listening, was like, I'll take the team, and then just like 2 weeks in is like, I don't want the team
Yeah, he shat the
anymore,
bed. He
right?
shat the bed.
Shit himself. Obviously couldn't stand the heat, get out the kitchen.
Didn't enjoy it.
Well,
last year.
just
Do you know what I mean?
Didn't have the most
just
successful
before we
year.
go any further, Naz, the weekend was your managerial debut, I believe. And after the Pedro game, I got a quick interview with you, didn't I?
You
So
did,
let's give that a listen, right? And see what you think.
I'm excited for this.
Naz, first game as Resi's manager, came away with a nice 4-0 resounding victory, clean sheet, plenty of goals. What's your thoughts?
I think based on the last few weeks, today was unreal. Just from everyone. I think obviously a lot of hard work from Brad in training as well, putting some great drills in. I think I've got pretty lucky there in terms of getting us on a good day. But obviously, just happy to step in for Brad. And backline was unreal. Centre mids played well together. Front three were unbelievable. Obviously, Elliot first half hat trick. You know, it's one of them games where everything goes right.
Stepping in for Brad there, you mentioned he struggled to get a win. Is this a change of management? Is this a change of policy, or just simply a one-off?
Look, I'm a club man, but I'm contracted to the club to do my job. Brad's the manager. Whatever the committee decides, I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say I didn't want the job. I'm hungry for the job, but Brad's the manager. He's contracted to it. I let the club decide, and I just let my results talk for themselves, you know.
Well, Naz, I've got to say, great result, great performance. How are you going to celebrate tonight?
Look, we'll probably get round to our sponsors, the Rocks. Obviously, a huge credit to the Rocks for putting us on and obviously having us there every week. It's always a great day. Waiting for the first to obviously put victory in as well. That'd be real good. But then it's Big Blockhead's birthday tonight. Jono, legend of Glebe Gorillas. It's his 40th or 50th birthday or something. I don't know. I've lost count. But I'm sure we'll have a few beers there and enjoy ourselves.
Cheers, Naz.
I know what you're thinking.
Unreal.
Has he had media training?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I haven't had media
Come
training.
across the same as Mourinho.
And look, Brad, if you're listening, I just want to apologise. I think the line of questioning got a bit...
Sweating here.
Yeah.
Sweating.
Look, but
It was heated.
my job as a journalist is to ask these tough questions. And I think Naz answered it. You know, you're very diplomatic. As you said, you're contracted the club to stick...
He got a 4 in
It's
the
the
win.
first podcast.
He
We
got
need to
four-
get the deep questions asked.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Brad, they're taking the piss. I don't want the job, mate.
He's
We-
under the bus.
You stepped up. Really appreciate it.
He's a Scouser. It's still the limelight from you.
Yeah, he's steal my jacket if you could. No, mate, look, yeah, absolutely massive credit for Brad for stepping up because John of the shithouse didn't want it after 2 weeks, couldn't stand the heat. So all credit to Brad. I think, yeah.
It's good to see him back involved.
Yeah,
Obviously,
man.
I've been
like,
away for a few months and
He's a
I thought he
decent
was
player.
finished.
going to your point about like once you're in the club, you don't leave the club.
No, you
know?
don't. He had the
So,
whole season out. He'd done pre-season. He looked sharp. He looked good, and then he had a few games into the team, and then unfortunately he got injured for the whole season. But I rocked up to training today, and to see his face was pretty good.
And just to talk about the challenges of managing players, especially adults, when you
That are older than you.
When you-
Yeah.
Adults that are kids.
adults that are essentially still kids,
Idiots.
but
Idiots.
going from being a player to having little to no managerial experience to being chucked in to managing a team on a Saturday, you've got up to 20 players a week to pick from. There's players, you've got to take training sessions, you've got to drop people.
Yeah, they've got to
it's-
listen to you
think
and
you've
to
got-
make your
you think
voice
You've got
listen.
20.
Yeah, and you're doing it as a volunteer as well. You know, that's the challenges we've got as a club. So, you know, people like Brad stepping in doing that, huge credit to him. And obviously Deck, first team manager, has been doing it for a few years.
Useless.
Yeah, I think like that. I think
Ah,
that's
just get him out.
that just goes back to the point about like grassroots. It's all run by a few boys. Like there's no money in our club. There's no coaches. There's no grounds people. We haven't been around for like 40 years like other clubs. It's just literally us boys like Deck and Brad taking training, like senior boys.
We don't have the
trying
squad
to help.
depth of younger teams or anything to help us out. It's whoever turns up that year is what we've got.
Yeah.
And we've got to make the most of it. But we're always up there.
Yeah,
That's the best thing
definitely.
about it. We're always up there, no matter what. No matter what standard comes in, they get on our level and they push themselves to do better and to work for the team. It's just all about work ethic.
Yes, Clayton with the Clayton with the pump. Get it.
It's all about
Gordon,
the
you're
boys.
leaving
We play
now. I
now.
didn't realise you were so serious. Like,
Well, that's the Rezzies.
yeah.
Let's move on to the first team. Similar story. I think we've played 4, drawn 2. This is in the league. Drawn 2, 1-1, lost 1.
Yeah, in the league. I think it's been...
Jimmy, give us a bit of a background on our league
I
performance.
think the league's been tainted a bit by the cup run. I think 2 games a week. It's just
Elaborate a bit on the cup run, though. Let's chat about the cup
Alright.
run.
Yeah,
Give
I've-
us
I've
a
not been
background
here for the
of
cup
what
run.
the
Let me hear.
is.
The boys are playing in the Australian FFA Cup, which is like the equivalent to the FA Cup back home, isn't it? And had a few decent results, beating a Dunbar MPL side that play like 3-4 leagues above us,
Yeah.
and
Semi-pro,
it's all paid, yeah. So yeah, we've had a few decent results, but playing at like 8 o'clock at night on a Thursday or a Wednesday, and then people have got to go and sit behind the desk for the rest of the week, and then go out and get smashed on a Friday or some whatever it is, and then go into a Saturday game and the team's just in pieces. We had a tough game against Coogee, first game of the season, and they had decent setup. They've always got a strong side.
Yeah, strong squad.
I think we put up a decent fight against them, but we just...
What was the result this
just
year?
gassed.
1-1. 1-1.
No, we lost 1-0.
1-0.
Oh, you lost
yeah,
1-0,
they scored
yeah,
in like the 85th minute or something.
yeah.
Oh, didn't deserve it, to be fair.
Yeah,
than
but
last year.
they're a decent side.
Yeah, decent.
They've been around a long time.
And then we had a couple of other sketchy results, didn't we? We played Waverley. That was 1-1. We was 1-0 up, and then Reese lost his head.
Which is not the first time or the
It's not a
last time.
surprise. Not a surprise.
Yeah, we'll do a feature on Reese later.
Another whole episode on race. We'll get around to him.
He's got a poem later.
Just to finish on the first team, we got our first win on the weekend against Basement Boys Pagewood, 5-1. Naz was there in the rocks to catch up with Deck, first team manager, to hear his thoughts. Let's see what he's had to say for himself.
Deck, it's been a couple of fucking iffy weeks to be honest, but then the beauty of the FFA Cup and then coming into the league, it's been tough. So what's the thoughts today?
Professional win from first 30 minutes, bit all over the place, struggling to get into the game. We still controlled the game but not really creating any chances, but all we needed was that one little piece of luck. Ball dropped, head off Jimmy, went in, boom, we kicked off, boom, from that 1-0 we kicked off from there. Just before half time, scored another goal, sort of killed off the game. Second half, out like a house on fire, just fucking straight out from the blocks, boom, got a third. Jimmy in the right spot, right place. Des getting his first 2 goals, so it was a good day for everyone.
Ah, shit, Jimmy got a hat-trick as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think, mate, 5-1, resounding victory, but how do you take that into the next FFA Cup game as well? Because playing Blacktown Spartans MPL 2 team, it's going to be fucking tough, mate. Obviously, we've beat MPL teams already, some great performances, so how do you bring that to the next game?
Well, actually, the next game is Maroubra in the league, so next week, it's so tough trying to play Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday again. So we rotated the squad today to get lads a couple of minutes who haven't played as much as they probably like to. The lads started today, like Luxton, Ash, everybody was solid. So next week again, maybe something similar to rest. More of the lads who've played most games. But yeah, obviously it's not ideal, but we just have that little thing about us when we play in the FFA Cup, that little bit of eagerness, a little bit more, want to win the game, especially being against a team in NPL 2. We already beat Dunbar convincingly 2-0. They're NPL 3. It's going to be a hard test, but I think the boys will definitely put a shift in and hopefully get a result.
Just last thing as well. Do you want to give a little message to one of our very own presenters, Tucky, as well, because he stepped in, did a shift for you? Do you want to say thank you, or do you want to give him some abuse? How do you want to go for it, yeah?
Tucky's probably sick of me giving him abuse, so I'll actually give him a bit of praise for once. Again, he played the FFA Cup last week, class, pulled off a couple of great saves. Today, he showed why he's a top-level goalkeeper. He showed today, pulled off 2 great saves. Other than that, he didn't have much to do, thankfully, but when he was called upon, he fucking done the job, and that's what you want.
You've been very nice there. I think he's still wobbly. I wouldn't play him, to be honest. I'm glad Reece is coming back. I think it's an absolute dream Reece is back. But anyway, cheers, Deck. Thanks for your time, mate.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, man. I know what you're thinking. Deck hasn't had media training.
No, I was thinking.
I thought he was putting on a deeper voice.
He's on the Belfast debating team.
He's done all right there.
Well, look, first and foremost, obviously, let's talk about Deck. Deck's been manager of the club for
unreal.
I think this is 3rd season.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. I think
he was Resi's, and then he did Resi's for a bit as well.
It'll be his 3rd season.
It'll be his 3rd season. Yeah. He was the manager of my 1st season.
Yeah, and as much as we give him a stick, he's done a great job to come into it.
Yeah,
to a team.
Unbelievable.
He puts his heart and soul into it, doesn't he?
Yeah, and the club
play for the effort.
100%, and the club wouldn't run without people like Deck who give their time and do it well. Volunteer, but not only that, have passion for it, care about the club. So yeah,
it's easy to point the finger. It's easy to say if we get a result against us that it might be the manager's fault or whatnot, but the man puts his heart and soul into it. So
yeah, 100%
play.
And just a quick one on Tucky there. Deck giving him a rare bit of praise. Are we happy with that? Are we mirroring that, or does Tucky deserve to get a bit?
Shit.
He does for that. He does for that.
Hands.
Mate, he were in that game. He was class though.
Couldn't catch a cold.
Look. In fairness, that FFA Cup game. Tucky, by the way, is going to be he's meant to be one of the presenters on this as well, but
Dom Tuck.
He's always dead busy and that with his other shit.
Yeah, he's watching Ross Noble tonight.
Yeah,
he's got tickets to everything.
Yeah, he's busy.
He's whining and dining, sales deals, whatever.
Yeah, he reckons he works in sales, but I don't believe him. But to be fair, that FFA Cup game, he was unreal. That game against Marion.
Yeah, two saves that kept it in the game.
There was that first 10 seconds where someone chipped it over and that lad was playing up top. And it bounced on the edge of the box and Tucky come out and he swung his foot and he missed the ball completely, but he didn't catch the kid, and that could have been game over immediately. But all through that game he was class. He's fair play to him. He's been great this season.
Yeah, credit where it's due, and obviously having Reece coming in, and for those listening, Reece is one of the biggest men you'll ever meet.
What a throw.
Yeah, possibly. It's like...
Edge of the box, I received one of his throws from. He threw it from his own box to the other side of the box before it bounced.
Mate, it's a joke, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's actually not right. I don't think it's real.
Superhuman, some would say.
And just a beast of a guy. We're actually playing CBD this weekend. And unfortunately in the previous fixture, Reece clattered someone, and let's just say the other guy, struggled to. Yeah, he was in pieces, quite literally. Unfortunately, so if you're listening, CBD striker, hope you're doing well, and hope you don't meet Reece's full weight again.
He was a good player, him as well. Yeah. He was playing really well.
Was a good
tactical
player.
Yeah, Reece is
tactical by Reece. He's an horrible
match did get abandoned.
He's horrible, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he is. To be fair though, he is horrible.
He's disgusting.
He is horrible person. Because outside of the pitch, he's one of those players that is so calm and nice and
Yeah.
like respectable, and he's like, you'd love to like if you were a girl, like you'd take him home to your parents and stuff like that, like
Or a boy.
proper like nice. As soon as he goes on the pitch, he just becomes
he's a
this
great guy. He
absolute
turns into an
arsehole.
animal.
Yeah.
He turns into an animal.
Yeah.
His temper goes. His heart's in the game.
Have you heard the
Fair
story
enough.
about Reese and getting home steaming?
Get him what?
Getting home steaming. He's been out.
No.
He's had a great night. He's
When's
had a
this?
great night. Goes home and Reese has got a gaff. Have you seen his?
Ah,
gaff?
it's somehow.
Some beast house in
What a
Maroubra.
swimming pool.
He hates Maroubra FC, but he loves Maroubra, the place. Lives there. He's got an unbelievable
Top
gaff.
gaff. Yeah.
Comes home, steaming, and the rest, whatever. And rips his own place up.
What?
Smashes his own house up.
When was this?
Rips the plasma off the
Anytime
wall.
he's drunk.
Smashes the drywall down.
You know when Hulk grabs Loki and smashes him about the room.
Either side, yeah. Hulk smash.
Free smash.
Throwing his misses
Reese
through
smash.
walls and stuff. You don't like him. when he's-
Credit to bringing.
He does have CCTV around his house, so we should get some of that footage.
Ashton's.
Yeah, let's get some
Credit
of
for
that.
bringing Ash to the club as well, because he's
Yeah,
been
he's
like
got-
great addition as well. You know, like the two brothers.
Yeah.
Um,
He's sticking around now, though.
Yeah. Oh, you banned from training?
Yeah, Dick banned me from training because
When?
I went for a pint with Coyne at Manly Wharf.
Oh yeah, and it was all over Instagram.
Yeah, but it was like 3 hours before training. It was just one pint before the ferry came.
fair.
So I was banned from training. Whole team talk about why I shouldn't be starting. I shouldn't be involved.
Obviously still started
And
it.
he still played.
Oh no! The
Start, it's a big
funniest thing was I was at a public bar the night before the game, and someone else tried to take a photo. So I quickly grabbed. Brucey wasn't drinking at the time because his kidneys are sore, the little bitch. So I grabbed Brucey's can of Coke and put it in front of me, and I give my beer to Bruce. So Dick's seen the photo the next day, and he's like, "Oh, that was funny." That I think he was actually being serious, thinking I was on cokes instead of drink. I was rat-arsed. Of course, could barely find my way home that night, and I'm there listening to the team talk. Shouldn't be starting this boy. Yeah, he just ranted the whole time about me. But I only bagged a hat trick, didn't I?
You've done 10k runs and bagged hat tricks on a end of a bender.
And it was a hell of a hat trick, to be fair.
Yeah, it was. It was a perfect hat trick.
Talking about benders, I think we should definitely go back to the story about Jimmy's first introduction with
Yeah,
with
let's
Glebe
touch on that.
Gorillas, right? Because like
Yep.
no one had known Jimmy. Like,
Well,
I've never heard the story.
let's just say, we've met James,
yeah,
but perhaps we hadn't met Jimmy.
yeah.
So
We'd met James in and out, nice lad,
yeah,
like
seems
respectable. He works for a good company, like got a good job. You know, he's like really polite and that, like real nice lad. And seen him play, everyone's like, oh, he's fucking decent player. I'm like, where's he come from and that, you know? And then and then gets man of the match, and then we go back to the Tudor, which used to be our sponsorship.
What a
It was
place.
World Cup at the time.
Unbelievable. It was a World Cup at the time.
So everyone was necking pints. Like
Everyone
it
was
no
getting
shit.
smashed, and then also it happened to be one of them days where all the girls come as well, and like friends of friends come, and then me and Niall used to live close to the Tudor, so it was like 2 years ago when I was like, I don't care about destroying the gaff, like let's have it, and then ended up being 40 people back to our place, going till the early hours, but early on in the night, Jimmy's turned up.
I'm
And
excited for
everyone's
this.
like,
Who the
so
fuck
everyone's
is
like, all right,
that?
fine, yeah, this new lad's a bit, he's getting after it and that. Everyone's like, yeah, fine, he's like, he's dead fun and that. Within an hour, he's trying to chat up Darcy, Jono's girlfriend. Then he's trying to chat up Janie, Gav's girlfriend.
Yeah, perfect.
And
Perfect
he's basically gone for. He's
a horny man.
He's turning into a mess at one point, and then he's like he's tried to open the bottle with his mouth.
It was the champagne.
Was
from
it the
Tudor.
champagne?
Yeah. Someone had give it me, and I thought, what a club. You get a bottle of Moe.
Every time we man of the match.
Turns out someone's just took it from the fridge at Tudor.
What a
But then I've gone in the bathroom, right? So while this is happening, he's trying to chat everyone up, and then there's people behind us on my sofa being like, you better take him away because I'm about to fucking chin him here. And like he's about to get banged out, and Jimmy's just like sitting there, doesn't know what's going on. I've gone in the bathroom. there's blood on the ceiling, and there's blood on the mirrors, and there's blood on the floor, and I'm like, where the f- does this come from? Jimmy's blood everywhere. Jimmy's walking around like, don't know, mate. Don't know. So everyone's about to chin him. He's chatting up everyone's bird. There's blood all over me gaff from Jimmy.
I know.
Welcome to Glebe Gorillas.
The worst thing was, I woke up, I had no recollection at all. And George, who took me to the club, who's massive, innit? Bit of protection. I was like, I can't go training on Tuesday. I was like, I'm gonna get leathered off him. I don't know what happened, but I know it weren't good. He was like, I can't go training. I was like, nah, I'm not going. He's like, you've got to go. You've got to show up the first time, or it'll just build and build. I turned up, I was like walking over thinking, oh, Naz is going to hate me. He's going to hate me. And he's like, hey, up, man. Hey, up. Had a good night, you. Hey, bloody hell, there's blood all over my house. I was like, oh, decent. All the lads are laughing. I was like, this is class.
Welcome to Glebe.
Class. Same time Saturday.
What an entrance.
Yeah, I think most players have got a kind of, maybe not to Jimmy's level, but there's like step one of meeting people, and then there's
The other side.
The other side of meeting people.
The other side of them.
Where you proper meet people.
Everyone's got a dark side.
Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy.
So that's it for this week.
What are we doing here?
Lads, I think that's been a good half of football, put in a good shift. And now I think it's time for Jimmy's halftime poem.
Jesus Christ. My eyes are bad. Alright, here we go. Reece stands at 7'2". Any opposition, he'll abuse you. He's the biggest gorilla in height, weight, and skrilla. But let's not forget, our man who's in net is not as good as his brother.
Voice of a generation, that like.
Jimmy has got a voice on him.
Fantastic.
Have you done that just today as well?
So just a little one.
That was lovely.
The worst part for you there is that the standard is now at that level, right?
Mate.
So if you don't bring that every week,
I think we should all. I think if we can all submit a poem, that would be something.
A poem on them up at the match.
wordsmith. Yeah,
Jimmy has set a standard there.
That's good, that.
Phenomenal.
Good, that.
Mate, unbelievable.
Yeah,
But
I
what
like
is
that.
Reece is an easy target, you know what I mean? He's got the height. He's been a bit of a dick.
He's got a
brother.
temper.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's ticked all them boxes.
Gonna have to insult a few people as we go along.
Yeah.
Who's like,
The Reece
who
roast.
was dick of the day this week?
For the Rezzies, it was Steve because he come on last 30 and you didn't know whether he was playing it down the line or if it was his touch because it went so far in front of him and he did that like 3 times. So he fully deserved that and he knew he did. Who was for the first? I don't know.
Dylan.
It's
Again.
2 week in a row.
Because Dylan, as much as he's a good player, he took a touch on the halfway line. When I say touch, it just basically fell over. He just did a 360, just landed his ass. I think the best thing about it was him moaning afterwards in the pub, saying, "Oh look, I've had one bad touch."
Yeah. I'm class.
Dylan,
Give it to
I'm
me.
class,
I've got
yeah.
5 people around, mate.
Yeah, that's what it's amazing because it happened to him really. Because if it happened to anyone else, it's like fair enough. Because it happened to him, unreal, unreal.
The Aussie Pirlo.
He's class, isn't it? He is the Aussie Pirlo or the Aussie Borat. Whatever.
Yeah, in fairness to him, I would never say it to his face, but
Still
he's
cheering.
fucking like
Well, you can
it's
say
just,
it here.
He looked sharp in the trials from what I've seen. He looked like a great player.
cut
it just
out.
goes towards the standard in it of
Silk.
like players that have come this year, especially for the first
Yeah.
team, is like coming down from state league and not even down really because I think like your first team could play the same level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But like those boys that have come, man, like the standard is something stupid here now.
Yeah. Well, I think since even when I joined, we've always had good players, but now it's just kind of just consistently solid. You know,
In every position.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. From what I've seen in
competition as
pre-season,
well.
I thought it looked like the team of the whole 3 years that I've been at the club. So I was gutted to miss I'm gutted to miss the rest of the season, but it looks like the best Glebe team that I've seen on.
Definitely. I don't think
on
there's
paper.
anyone that thinks they've got a guaranteed place. That makes a hell of a difference, doesn't it?
That's why it's so horrible for Brad and Deck as well.
tough.
Though, do you know what I mean? Like, because it's not about the players that play; it's about the players that don't play that you got to keep
You got to keep them happy.
interested. Yeah,
And what about the formation? I'll ask about the formation. It's a big change this year.
that's a good point.
It's never changed before, so what's new?
Well, I think we've gone 3-5-2. I think in previous seasons we've gone 4-3-3 based on personnel. Obviously, Clayton, you're playing, as a winger, so we could play 2 wide men. But having loads of good centre halves and centre mids means I think we're just trying to find a formation which fits.
Yeah, it fits the personnel more than others would.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think it works really well.
And the hardest position, and he sat around this table, is playing wing back. Jimmy's playing that right wing back. Dermy on the left.
Dermy, how old's Dermy?
33.
He
33.
runs more than anyone. He's so
Benjamin
fit.
Button.
Aye, but the thing with Dermy is that's come the last 2 years though, because
Yeah, I know.
he obviously put it like because
He's put in the hard
he was
work.
never that fit before, and he was never that like looking as good as he does. But like,
Jesus, some rig on him now.
but he put in the work,
Yeah.
and like now he can. But like, yeah, you're right though. Like wing back is ridiculous, and I think seeing the formation, seeing you play up front on your own for so long, and now being able to play alongside
Well, you've got Des
someone
and Josh
is, like,
as well. Yeah, I think
Is that a flat 3 in the middle?
no, 2 and 1.
Yeah.
A little cam in there.
Yeah, so Josh would play as a 10 behind me and Des, or we'll change it up. On the weekend, Jimmy Ward played as a 10, scored a hat-trick.
players like Jimmy and that,
class,
like
Who's
players
that?
like Jimmy Ward turning up being
What
like
does he look like?
James Ward, quite tall, ugly fella.
That's good. Unlucky, Jimmy.
So he's 6'2", ripped, blonde. He's the best Jimmy in the club.
Wow, I don't know.
Well-
don't know about that. James, he's called James.
James.
yeah, until he's had 4 beers, then he would call him Jimmy as well. Happens to all Jameses.
It's going that trip, but the people I was going to not say anything, and then people listening to this podcast,
Yeah, I think
if we
it's
get
you.
anyone like,
You
oh, Jimmy
shit
scored an hat trick.
Oh, I thought
Get in there.
I thought it was
But
you.
like people like him, obviously playing class, you can bring them in. But about the back line, everyone knows how good like Jono and Ash and like
Yeah, well, what's the back
class.
3?
But mate, Ewan,
Ewan.
we've got to mention Ewan a little bit, yeah,
Mate,
because
Ewan.
Wow.
oh my goodness, mate.
Where the fuck? I don't know where the fuck we pulled him
Yeah,
from.
where's he
But
come
he has
from?
got.
Hogwarts.
You can't take the ball around him. It's
Mate.
fucking weird.
He's like one of them players that we were saying before, right? That like he's
Is he the
clearly
bald man?
played at a decent level.
Yeah.
And like he turns up and just plays with his pals, and you're like you're looking at him, and he's just like likes to have a beer, really nice lad. But you're just sitting there watching him, and you're like, this guy's a complete monster. Like, what is he
Yeah,
doing?
you
playing
see it
against
straight up. Like, playing against him for the last
Mate, he's so good
year,
on the
you've seen it.
So good on the ball. For a big, you look at him, you think centre half, you're gonna get the ball clear at S for. Do you know what I mean? But he is unreal on the ball. Like he'll dummy you, fake you, and you're like,
Yeah.
fuck you off.
Yeah, I think we played against him last year, and the best thing
Yeah.
was he went off injured.
Yeah,
He did, yeah. He went off injured.
Yeah, he
and
got
that
the
made
head
me
in,
happy,
yeah.
yeah.
It's so funny watching your new formation though, because he plays on the side that Dermy plays on, and like
Oh, so he's not in the
Left
centre.
He's left of a back
he's like
three.
left centre
Yeah.
back, but like Dermy's obviously always wants the ball, like always wants to drive, and when he doesn't give him it, they're always just like getting at each other,
Yeah.
and like he's such a nice bloke that like anyone else would be
Dermy
like, shut
shouts
the
at
fuck up,
Dermy
Dermy.
shouts at everyone.
Aye.
though.
Has he scored a goal? Has he?
Ewan,
Yeah,
he's
he's
got a
couple.
couple of goals, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
But
cup.
like you know, like
He's a
like-
presence.
but you know, like anyone else would just tell Dermy to fuck off. But he's such a nice lad that he's like, oh, like, but like when he doesn't pass the ball to Dermy, like, Dermy goes mad at him.
I've got to say that left side this season, like Dermy's in the form of his life.
Yeah.
Ewan's just a monster.
Dermy's been unreal. Probably
You could see it coming
one of
from
my
last year, though.
players of the season so far, definitely.
Yeah.
But he's not even just about the fitness and him getting up and down the pitch anymore, because
He's
he's
quality
always
on the ball.
he's always had the delivery. He's
Yeah,
always
the
took
product's
corners.
been
He's
there.
always took free kicks. Like
Yeah.
when
How
you've
many
got
assists
like
did he
that-
get last year?
Oh,
About
6
7
or
or 8.
7, yeah. He
He's
was
on
great.
7 already at the moment, I think.
but again, I would never
He
say it was
scored 3.
face
He
because
did
like
3 at the weekend, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, you'd never say it to his face again though, because like you know
Isabella.
he's a
No,
he's
you
a
don't
bad-
want to tell. Every time he got an assist, everyone was trying to take it away from him, going, "Nah, it took a deflection, or it didn't count."
But one thing I will say about him, One thing I will say about Dermy is his class, he's fit, he's got some delivery on him, but
That's such an
he'll only do 45 minutes in training, or he'll only do 60 minutes in a game. I think now he's playing a bit more in the game, but you can bet that you'll start feeling his hammy in training, or someone will run past him and the wind breaks
Recently,
his toe.
I've been getting it in. I've been thinking, fuck, there's only one set of subs left. I'll get it in before he goes on. I take it. No, but I've literally been fucked, me. I can't run. Fucked it.
This formation, man.
Man.
It's tough. God, I've never played.
In
I
the
think
heat
I've
as
played
well.
wing back once in my
In the
life, and it was
heat.
tough. Yeah.
It's like midday in Australia. We're not made to be running up that much. Not
Yeah,
that much.
yeah. Pre-season in Australia is just
Rough, innit?
punishing.
It was early this year. It was an early pre-season.
January, 40-degree heat,
Perfect. Yeah.
Western Sydney. Nah.
Yeah, best of luck playing wing back. Because if it's not at my feet, I don't want it.
Jimmy, get forward. Deck's like, get forward. Get forward. I'm like,
I want to hear something. How was Foster this year? I've not heard any stories.
Foster,
Any good?
So,
Someone just give a background about
Yeah,
Foster,
someone
really.
tell us a
quick
story
bit
on
of
Foster.
background on Foster. So every year in Foster, which is a town sort of 4 hours from Sydney, they host a massive six-a-side tournament. There's hundreds of teams. I reckon probably 200 teams. It's massive, massive. So teams come from all over, kind of New South Wales, further. And yeah, this year we put in 3 teams. We came up there with high expectations, thinking, yep,
Oh, as was last year,
yeah,
the year before.
as
we were
always,
same.
yeah. Thinking,
Thought we were gonna win it.
yeah, we're class. Drive up, huge. Everyone's just singing,
get
drink.
on it.
Yeah, loving
Yeah,
it.
everyone's in the party.
Day one, obviously, easy. You know, like the games are
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
easy.
yeah.
So you walk through the group. Then obviously the Saturday night happens. I mean, huge.
It's an
wasn't it?
early start the next
Friday
day.
night as well,
Yeah.
weren't it, this year, though?
Yeah.
The Friday night. It's because the drive up there is so good. Because everyone's
It's a 4-hour
so
drive, no?
buzzing. Yeah, like last year when you and Bruce in it.
Don't.
Tops
I've never drank goon since that day.
tops off
Oh,
and goo.
wow.
Never ever drank it since.
Jimmy
mate.
did his karaoke as well, though.
Oh, yeah.
Frank
What's the
Sinatra.
number, what's the
Customer.
number that you, Frank Sinatra?
Yeah, Frank. Bit of
Always Frank. Always a bit of
Yeah,
Frank.
bit of my way.
I did-
Shank
I
Sinatra.
put
You put in a song as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
What did you put in?
Rasputin.
No, you
by
didn't.
Bonnie.
Did you actually do Rasputin?
What does that go like?
Is that your usual go?
Give us a taster.
Yeah, because
Rah, rah, Rasputin, lover of a Russian queen.
Tune.
Bonnie M, what an absolute band. We're going watching them.
that could be the theme tune for this, by the way.
Yeah,
I think we just
I did
nailed
put
the
it
theme
forward,
tune.
but I mean,
Did you actually? Oh,
I
yeah, you
reckon
did.
Gorillas
You
is
did.
good.
You did.
Well, we
I
still
reckon
haven't.
the Gorillas is
We
good.
still have not decided on a name. If we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've got some good ones floating about. Like, Guerrilla Warfare is good.
Going ape.
Go
Something
away.
like
There was
Go
past
away.
the podge. In Foster 2 years ago.
Podcast.
Yeah, the
Pod-
podcast.
Podcast is a decent one, but I don't think many people will get it.
Yeah, but they will when we bring him on as a guest.
Yeah, when he gets in, you'll know about him.
Eyes are
Speaks 8
open.
languages.
Yeah, like the episode that we bring Podge on.
The four
Wow.
episodes.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
Can't just have one
Season.
night.
Yeah, it's a season of podge.
yeah, that's gonna be.
Podcast is a good one.
He can
gonna-
talk about the referees. He
He's
can
gonna
cover
get a
the
Splinter
referees.
podcast as well. He's gonna get his own show after.
Yeah, he'll break off.
Yeah.
Break off and go
Surprise.
Han Solo.
Super League.
Yeah, what else are we talking? Guerrilla Warfare, Gorillas in the Mist. Going eight.
Who wants to be a gorillionaire?
No, that's not. I like
to be a
it.
gorillionaire.
No,
Gorilla
that's got
on air.
something.
Who wants to be
Yeah.
a gorilla on
Gorilla
air?
on air.
I like that. I like
Who wants
that.
to be a gorilla on air? That's
It's a hard one for people
Yeah.
to type in. Like, what's that? What's that podcast?
Yeah, it's not.
Wants to be a gorilla on air.
Who wants to be a gorilla on air?
I like it. It's got.
I like that. Yeah, Clayton, tell us a story, lad.
I don't know actually how it
Strange
sounds.
toilet break.
But nah, I was working for. I think I was actually working for Dermy at this time, right? But there was these 4 like real boga and fucking creepy looking men, like missing teeth, 6'5", dang mate, his hands were fucking, they were this long, like mate, he was just. They had binoculars. If I set the scene right, we're working on a rooftop, and we're relaying the waterproofing on it. And mate, lunchtime they're like, oh, check these binoculars, like look through the binoculars, look down at the beach in Manly and stuff like that, and just look at people on this beach and stuff like that.
It sounds like my kind of people.
He's
so
egg.
far.
Oh, mate, I was loving it. Like I was
Dave?
egged on. Yeah, I was egged on by it. And but then for the whole week they would just come back to ours, have a smoke, do whatever, just have a few beers with us, and I was just like, nah. I got to the Friday, and it was the time we actually went to Foster. I was working for these boys when I went to Foster, and they were like, come back with us. I went back to them, and they were always talking about me in like third person. I always just sat on my phone after work, and I was like, yeah, I'll come back with you. I'm in the car. I'm driving back to their place, wherever they're staying, going through Manly on these back roads and stuff. But one of them's just like, while I'm on the phone, this is right at the start, and he's just like, oh, imagine being on the phone with 3 random guys that you don't know, and you're going down all these back roads. But I'm just on my phone, just listening. I'm just like, that's a bit odd. Red flag, right from the start. It's like, just imagine.
But you've carried
it.
on.
Oh, aye, of
You've
course.
carried on.
Drop us off here, pal.
Nah, I'm just like, maybe he's just trying to have a few jokes or whatnot. And I go to this place that they're staying, right? You go up these stairs, and it's all like overgrown, like weird fucking, like garden looking house. You go in,
Jumanji.
and the first thing, like looking like an overgrown Jumanji house. You go through, and there's a big, massive, like machete on the table, and it's just on the kitchen on a chopping board, and I'm just like, all
That
right.
makes sense.
Yeah, I was just like, well, I'm
Brendan.
quite a fucking cheeky guy, so I was like, what the fuck is this for? And he's like, oh, cutting our vegetables, and I was just like, nah, mate, you ain't cutting nothing with that. And then the night goes on, we're having beers, billies and stuff like that, and then he's talking about getting on like acid and stuff. I was like, no chance. But then they talk about like your backpackers going missing, like real dark stories of that. What's that?
Film.
Yeah, what's that movie about?
Wolf Creek and
yeah.
that. Yeah.
But I had the same conversation, mate. It was like Groundhog Day at work. It was like every day I'd have the same conversation. Yeah, with 3 different guys, they'd have the same conversation every day about. One would talk about girls and like being quite creepy with girls. Then one would talk about backpackers going missing, and then the other one would always just be imitating accents of like where I'm from and what I talk about.
Sounds like Glebe this.
No. So then I'm sat.
Get these boys on a club.
I'm sat in this
Sign 'em up.
I'm sat in this back garden with them, and then they're just flicking bottle caps over the edge, right? So I'm just like, right, I'll see how far I can throw it, whatnot. And then every time I walked up to it, it was just like a fence, like a wooden fence, but it was on quite like a little drop. And they're like, "What, you don't go over that? Like, what you don't go over that drop there?" And I'm just like, "What do you mean? How would I like go over the top of this fence? Like, it's up here." And like, "What, you don't go over there?" So they just kept dropping like signals of like they were gonna push me or something like that, and then they just kept getting weirder and weirder the whole night. Kept bringing up like, imagine going back to a place where, like where you don't know people and you're just working, going back to theirs, getting acid, and then they were talking about some German guy they worked with. He came back to theirs, done acid with them, never seen them again. I was just like, mate, it just kept going on, right? So I could go deep into it, like it comes to mind every now and then, but they just kept going and going and going. My heart was just starting to race. Like, do you know when you're just on your phone listening, and you're just like, I shouldn't be in this situation, but it was on the balcony in the corner, and I'm in the corner of the room where that gas tank is over there for you boys in here. I'm in the corner. I'm pinned by these 3 guys that are just talking. So, for instance, they were like, let's go for a walk and let's go for a drink and just see where we end up. I'm like, nah. Then they were talking about, let's go for a drive, we'll get a few drinks. And I was just like, nah, you're drunk. And they just kept egging on getting in the car to go somewhere. I was like, I ain't getting in the car with you guys. And then I just felt more pressured all the time. And I was like, I've just got to get myself out. I went quiet for like 10 minutes. I was like, how do I get myself out of this situation? I just stood up, walked round them, and I was like, yous are a bunch of fucking creeps. Like, it just kept getting worse. Like, the feeling was uncomfortable as hell. Like, I just knew I had to get out, but if I spoke, I felt like they were going to fucking jump on me or something.
Where were you? Did you know where you were at this point?
Nah. At this
Oh, you
point,
don't know where you were?
I had no idea where I was,
Oh,
because I was on
wow.
my phone the whole time. Just finished work, so I was just like, I ain't been on my phone for
Do you know
hours.
if you were far or like were you in this like close?
I know now because I was 4K from the wharf of Manly.
Oh, wow.
But I had
that's a distance.
I was working at I was working at the Manly Wharf.
It's time, you know.
I was working there right at the wharf. You'll see it anytime you get the ferry there. The building on the left. That's a
me.
skyrise.
I've
mate.
done that.
I was working on the top of that. I see it
roof
every
there,
time.
that's me.
Yeah, you'll see it next time you go. So I was like, nah, I need to get myself out of the situation. Like, it's going west. And I was like, maybe I'm being paranoid. Maybe I'm starting to feel uncomfortable and I'm ahead of myself. So I got up, walked around them, said that. And, mate, not one looked at me or anything like that. They all looked at each other, sat in this little triangle at the table, all took their drink, finished their drink and got up at the same time and started walking towards me. And I was stood in the doorway. I was like, nah, get out. Didn't know how to even leave the house. Like, all the doors were shut in this house, and like it was like a square of like a room. I was like, what door do I go to? Like, what one looks like the exit? Got on the exit, ran like out this door, down the set of stairs. Instantly phoned Jack Walker. I said, mate, I'm in trouble. I'm in serious trouble. Sent him a location out because I live with Jack Walker, and I was like, nah, this ain't right. I was like, maybe I'm freaking out or whatnot, but if they come for me, I know it's them. I'm walking down the street. There's a canal on the left of me, and I was like, well, if they come for me, I know it's them because they've only got this one ute. Like, the ute they worked in and they picked me up in. I'm walking down the street, and nothing's happening at this moment. I get on the main street, and I'm like, just get off the main road, because if they see me on the main road, then they're going to do something. I go off this off-road, start walking down this little private housing estate, and this car that I see, like, I'm looking over everywhere, and I see this car coming, and I'm just like, that's them. That is them. And I jumped over a fence and hid in the fence, and this car drove past me. It pulled off the main road and down this estate. Went up, done a U-turn at the end, and came back down. So then I get back out, go on the main street, go a couple blocks down, and then this same car comes down the off-road again. I was like, nah, it's happening again. So I got out, ran, and then they found me, and they were screaming out the window, get in the car, get in the fucking car, get it. Like, I was just like, what is going on at this time? Like, I was so freaked out. There was a police car beside me, like down the road. Just he pulled someone over, and I was steaming and I was high, so I was just like, I ain't going to him and saying the situation because maybe it sounds terrible, but these guys were like proper hunting me down, like they're all night asking where I stay, what I'm doing and stuff like that, and I was just like, I hope I didn't tell them. I hope I didn't tell them where I went, but these guys were seriously coming for me, and I was texting them because I had his number. I was just like, well, like, what the fuck, like, yous are being weird and stuff, like, and they were just texting me, but like, no worries, mate. And then I was just like, I'll text them now and I'll see you down the street. And then they went to the street that I was sitting, watched them. Phone Jack Walker, and Jack Walker's like, get in a busy place. I found an IGA, and like,
6 IGA.
I found it,
One love.
saved my life. And Jack's like, phone an Uber, and that's
Shout
how I
out to
found out I was 4 kilometres away, because I had to get to the wharf somewhere. But when I was in the house, they was always like, oh, we'll just walk to the wharf, we'll walk you back. Like, acting like it was 2 minutes round the corner, but I was 4 or 5 k's away.
Yeah.
That's just a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Just a Tuesday. But did you have to go and work with them again?
I was meant to work the next day,
And you
and they
didn't
never even paid. Like, they didn't pay any work that I'd done for them
Fucking.
or anything like that. Yeah.
You didn't tell any, like, authorities?
No.
Or
I told. So I was working.
in here.
But I was working with two other
reported on that.
backpackers, and when I was on the ferry back, I phoned them, and I was just like, nah, this is like serious, like, situation. Like, I'm not over my head now. Like, this is for real.
But to be
What
fair,
about-
you saying about that German lad,
Yeah.
like, that
He's
might have
never
been a
been
joke,
there.
like they never seen him again. But now I'm starting to
The
think,
missing
actually,
German.
yeah,
Where's
that
Hans?
German lad in the
No,
garage.
but
like,
yeah,
in the
they
fridge.
went on about him all week, about that guy and stuff like that, and said he went back to theirs and they'd done
He's a
their
great
stuff,
guy.
and yeah, like, everything to me was adding up over and over and over again. But when I spoke with the other backpackers that were there, they were like, they were encouraging us to come back. Do you know, a lot of things kept adding up that were a bit off, and they were like, yeah, they kept telling us to
This
come back to the
podcast's
house.
got it all, hasn't it? Murder mystery.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
S
straight
for
crime.
football.
I would never
Gorillas
like
in the
to see them
mist.
again.
Maybe we'll go Gorillas in the Mist, actually.
Yeah.
Gorillas in the mist. Yeah, they're dark story. But
Do you have any information on Hans' whereabouts?
Did he do it?
Imagine,
Didn't he
we've
do
solved it.
Yeah.
First episode. Get in there.
Mystery murders.
But mate, the thing is, like, that story there is like, on one hand, the beauty of Australia being here, expats, unbelievable, outstanding, like everyone loves it, life,
Yeah.
amazing. But then,
Yeah,
like,
some weird-
there's some parts where,
there's
because
some
everyone's been
weird
travelling
shit.
around Australia, where you get
You
in
know
a
that.
spot and it's
You know
like,
it.
Yeah,
You
oh,
have
no.
had that feeling before.
Farm
Like,
work and stuff.
where you're
Yeah.
looking over your shoulder a bit and you're like, this is fucking not.
you've
like
got to
this,
question
like.
it. Like you do question it
Yeah.
the times.
But for that to be in Manly, like with someone that you work with, is
But they were
real
from.
dodge.
So they would talk about. I knew they were friends. Like I knew a bit of their background. They were from like around Brisbane, but in the outback and
Dodgy
stuff.
Queenslanders, like
And yeah, always. And they talked about how much they hated Sydney. Like they were only down here for a little time, but they would ask each other. Oh, they were in 30s, 40s, and be like, "Oh, when was the last time you went home and stuff like that, and seeing your family and that." But I'm sat on my phone like trying to hide from the conversation, but they just try to engage me and get me involved in these conversations.
Wait,
to
they were all 30, 40.
yeah, they were.
Oh, you were getting bummed, lad.
Yeah, they were
You
middle
were
aged.
getting
They're telling
straight
me.
up wrapped up.
They're
and you were
telling me
getting
to drop
bummed.
acid, and they were like, "Oh, imagine coming back to."
They were-
Train spotting.
Mate,
Mate.
24 years old. He was getting bummed.
Yeah,
100%.
but I'm sat there and
They
they're
would
like,
have got
imagine,
trained.
imagine coming back to our
Tag
house.
me in, coach.
Imagine coming back to our house and drinking our beers and smoking our billies and doing this and not
Now it's
and not
time
doing
to
anything.
Your ass out.
Now it's time to
But that's what
repay
they're like,
us.
yeah. So like, I mean, it was
Pretend
dark.
like-
Like, it was dark.
Dark humour.
I was just like, I didn't know if it was a joke or what, but I was just like, I ain't playing these games.
Yeah.
I'm getting out. But when I
Funny
said
joke.
to them, like, "These are weirdos, I'm leaving," they didn't react, mate. Their face didn't change, mate. They just drank their drink same time, all three of them, and just stood up and walked towards me. I was just like, nah, this is strange.
I want to see the report
They
on the
didn't
German
crack,
lad.
mate. They didn't crack.
I want to see the report on the German lad and see
Yeah.
what happened to him before he died, because that was about to happen to
Oh, mate,
you, bro.
they said he took the acid, so obviously that was
he
the
took, yeah,
turning
he took,
point.
he took more than acid.
Yeah.
He took more than acid.
I just
sounds
knew
like.
him. Mate. I went and I had to meet Jack that night. Like I was sat in the house thinking, have I told them my address, where I've stayed, what I'm doing? And I was just like, nah.
Oh, if Jack Walker coming to find you.
Jack
Yeah,
fucking
if that's
saved my
the
life.
saviour.
That day.
Come
You know
Jack
you're in.
Walker,
Quick
mate.
shocks on an England shirt.
Yeah.
Mate,
Come
it was
on,
terrifying.
mate. Let's have it. Oh, acid. You doing acid? Yeah, give us a bit.
No, I got to thank Jack for that night, man. He saved me.
Knocked some heads, took the acid.
That was
Shout
terrifying.
out to Jack Walker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
saved my
lifesaver.
life.
shout.
Big man.
Big shout to JW, EDL, EDL, EDL.
IGA, mate. IGA. Oh, they did drive past me when I was stood in the door of IGA.
Wow.
But it was busy. People were coming in and out, and they drove past like well slow. They had the knife and everything in
And,
the
and
car.
this is
man.
exactly why we've got Clayton on the show, basically.
That's
This is the reason
I mean, this cracks it.
that we've got Clayton on the show.
yeah. These are the stories I've got.
Well,
I think just put an edit on the beginning now and just say like, Clayton, tell us a story. And then you can edit
Clayton
that at the
Humphrey
front of it,
special.
basically.
100%. Well, Clayton, obviously.
Maddest story that's happened to over here.
Or just tell us a story. Just tell us a story.
I was going
I've
to say,
got
Clayton,
plenty, man.
obviously,
Famed.
just come back from farm work.
Yeah, it was golden.
That's like, the contrast between there and Sydney is huge. Like,
Yeah.
how do you find that? And what,
Well, I told you
You-
briefly a bit before I came on.
yeah, tell us about your mate you made when you were.
So to describe it, the place I stayed, it wasn't no safe place for a man. It was grim. It was dark. There was cockroaches. There's ants. There's like it's so infested with bugs and stuff like that. It was just a tin shed. You're paying $225 a week for some place that like it's not even got hot water or anything. Like it was pretty grim. But in the room I stayed in, there was 4 beds in each corner, and on the other corner was a 50-year-old man, long hair, looked a bit like Jack Sparrow, and not
Nice.
dreadlocks, but just to say
Big
like
fan.
he's mate.
Old Jack Sparrow.
He just told me he just spent his whole time telling me how much he loved boats, and he lived on a boat his whole life.
I
Shout
thought you were going to say
Shit.
how much he loved me.
mate, the guy must have had a thing for me, like I was a bit of a charmer. But nah, he loved to smoke, man. He was he was never sober the whole time I seen him. But shout out to Mike, what a guy. But nah, he just wanted to live on boats. Got a good idea. Living on boats. He used to just buy cheap boats and do them up, and rent them out to backpackers. But backpack, like, you've got my place to stay, or you're staying on a boat. Like, what are you going to choose? Like, my place is grim, man. It's fucking, I've got a hole in my couch. Like, it's not comfortable. There's no TV.
Where did you stay?
Oh, I stayed there.
Yeah.
I stayed. But I didn't have
I was wanting him to say it, but-
idea.
Straight up.
But,
Oh, yeah,
no,
you
no,
all
no,
stayed
I'll
there, yeah.
stay.
but I didn't have a choice. I didn't have, my visa's through the guy that I rented the room from, so I couldn't have stayed in this guy's brilliant idea. But he used to do up boats and rent them out to backpackers. So I used to just help him do up his boats and stuff like that. But there was one time again, and a grim story. A homeless man came and stayed in our hostel, and he's in the bed beside me. So you're just in a corner of the room, 4 corners obviously, and we came back from work one day. Everything we had money wise was gone. This guy had picked. Thank God I've lost my bank card, because this guy picked up Mike's bank card and tapped it on everything he could. In the 8 hours we were gone from work, stole like hundreds and hundreds of dollars of this guy's work. Clothes, mate. I came home, right? This guy's here at the time. I came home. He had my Man United top on, my shorts on, and I was just like, "What's going on?" Like I said, yeah, we share stuff, like the mic, like the speaker, you know, like one of the Wonder Booms. I was like, yeah, we share stuff, like cutlery and stuff what we've got lying around the house. I came home, mate, it was a whole new level, man. This guy obviously thought money and clothes and everything we could share. Mate, I wish I had a picture of this guy. Like he was an odd man. So Mike sat down on the table and he was just like, yeah, we've sat down in his bed and he looked in his drawer and the money was gone that Mike had in the drawer. And Mike goes, "Where's this money?" This guy was
How
like,
much we talking?
just $50.
Okay, yeah.
But this guy was like, "Oh, my girlfriend's pregnant, you know. She had to get to Townsville, so I had to pay for her taxi." And then we're like, "All right, yeah, that's understandable."
Sick accent.
No, he's exactly from wherever I just described it, so I'll leave that for you. But we're like, all right. He said he'll get the money back the next day. So then we're like, right, doesn't sound legit, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Came back the next day, mate, and he's obviously, that was the day he tapped that guy's card like crazy, man. He just took everything in the room, like it was mad. Obviously, he had the key. We phoned the guy that owned the hostel. He's like, "Man, we don't care." Like, he just hung up, didn't care at all. He's like, "Phone the police." And then we're like, phone the police. Police were like, "Oh, we can't come for a few days," and stuff like that. And this guy came back every single night, tried to take our stuff at like 2, 3 in the morning and stuff. Like, he had his own key and shit. So I wake up and this guy's in the room, man. It was terrifying.
That's just the general crack, though, right? Like,
Oh, it was great.
When you're
man.
up there,
It was
no, but
fun.
when you're up there about them saying we don't care, like, call
They didn't care at all,
like
man.
that'll be with anyone, right?
Yeah.
All the time
Yeah.
up there, that shit goes on.
Yeah, man, it was weird. The guy who comes smacking on the window, he goes, "I've got your money," and we're like, "We don't want your fucking money back. Like, we know we're not getting it back, mate." He was a homeless, like he was addicted to taking stuff, man. And like, for the first week he was sweet. The second week, he obviously went back to whatever he used to do, and that's when he just changed. Like, he just changed and went west. Every single day, just coming back, like, you could see that he'd search through every single thing in the room, like every single day, checking for stuff and that. Like, it was
Shout out to
odd.
Pete. I hope he's doing well.
I hope Mike's
Pete.
doing alright.
Yeah. Mike, if
nah.
you're listening,
But heck,
we're worried about you.
yeah, bring Mike on the boat now, like, probably sailing away. What a guy.
Mike and Pete.
Just imagine
Stab
Rosie
him.
and Jimbo like just going down the street.
It's hectic. But to be fair,
All the
it's in a
backpackers are.
perfect
Where did you
spot.
stay? No, I stayed in his gaff, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
love
loved
that
it. I
gaff.
lived in the gaff.
Yeah, great
Couldn't
idea.
leave. Couldn't leave. Yeah, I should have chose the boat.
To be fair, Clay, I think it's fair to say you've had a pretty sort of, like, the experiences you've had in Australia in the last few years have been pretty, I don't know, amazing. Yeah, eclectic. Well, good and bad, as you said.
Oh,
but
the highlight was staying on Jimmy's couch. If I do touch on that.
yeah,
like,
so let's touch
stayed
on
there for 2, 3,
yeah,
maybe
Jimmy,
4,
Jimmy,
5, 6,
actually,
7, 8 months.
Let's Jimmy, if you give us a quick background.
Yeah, all right. So
Talk us through what. Obviously,
this
I
is
know how
from
it
my-
went.
from
Yeah,
my-
I know how it
from
went.
mine and George's angle.
What?
So
George's.
I'd only met Clayton a few times because that's the season I was injured when Clayton first joined.
Yeah, this is
And,
how I see it.
went watching him one day, had a few beers with him in the pub, and then a few weeks later he's like, he's coming down from, been to do his farm work, coming down.
3 months later.
3 months later, next time I seen you. And he was like, listen, well, I need somewhere to stay. Hostels are all booked.
It was $500 a week at Christmas time.
Yeah.
So I'll quickly touch on. I had flights going to Bali, Amsterdam, back to Scotland for Christmas. I was going to surprise all my family, and then I don't know, a Jetstar all went on strike. So I had $4,000 worth of flights booked into flights going back. Shout out to Jetstar, shite company. Did not look after me.
Yeah, we don't want your sponsor.
Shit cat.
Yous are shit. So I was in Melbourne. No, I was in Cairns trying to fly to Melbourne, and I missed the flight. Oh, no, the guy went on strike, so I couldn't go. There was one seat left.
The guy went on strike.
Mate, the pilot...
The guy
No,
went on
the pilot went on strike, right? And I was flying with a German guy doing all this travel.
Please.
Get back in your fucking seat.
And so he's went on strike, and there was one seat left. The German guy I was traveling with, I was like, right, you go
Miss it
ahead.
to go. Listen.
You go ahead, mate. Han Solo,
I thought they buried him in Manly.
No, different German. Different Bastian
German
Klein,
guy.
this one. Bastian Klein.
Kleinstein.
Wait, what? His name's Bastian Klein.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That's got to
cracking
be a
name.
joke.
Cracking name.
His name's Bastian Klein.
Yeah, Bastian Klein, if you're
Oh my
listening.
god.
So he went on this flight, and for some reason they told me, divert your flight from Cairns to Darwin. It cost me $800. I was right, I don't want to check online, just book it, you do it. I got to Darwin and my flight already left to Bali. So I couldn't go to Bali anymore. So I was like, well, what the fuck do I do now? The Jetstar manager was just like, we'll book you another flight to Bali. Go to Bali and you can live in Bali because it's cheap and stuff like that. This is the manager of Jetstar when I was struggling with no money and stuff. I was like, yeah, I can't do that. And I go, what do I do now?
Go to Bali.
Mate, he told me to go to Bali and just book a ferry to say in Bali, I'm leaving Bali after 30 days because I can live in Bali for 30 days on no visa. So I booked a ferry to leave for $25. I came back 12 hours later to get the flight. I booked again to go to Bali and went, nah, mate, that's the wrong ferry. So I was like, so I've wasted another $25. So I booked another one. He goes, right, that's the right one. And then I had a little rip in my passport. And then after everything, they went, nah, you can't even fly to Bali. I was just like, you've seen my passport, you've seen everything I've went through. And he went, nah, the embassy of Bali have said that you're not allowed in. So now I had no money, no place to stay, and I was in an airport. And I said, right, I ain't leaving this airport until you fly me back to Sydney. Because Sydney's the only place I can go right now where I can get work and at least, like, find a place to stay.
Living that, yeah.
So I had $500 left, and it was $500 to stay in a hostel at Christmas time over December. So I don't know what told me that day. Like, I remember exactly. I was walking through Woolies at World Square, and I was like, I just phoned Jimmy or text Jimmy. Like, I don't know.
Put it in the group. I don't even know you. And me and George were sat on the sofa back home.
Who's this guy?
Yeah. Me and George were there. It was like, Clayton needs a place to stay.
Is this in your old guy?
George
Yeah.
George
No,
didn't
it's same
know
place
you, did
now.
he? George didn't know you. At that
No,
point.
I've had a few parties at yours.
Yeah.
That was it.
Well, not but you'd not really.
I never
I
spoke
was
to you.
like, Clayton needs a place to stay over Christmas. And we had 2 weeks off, to be fair, because of Christmas, whatever. So he can stay on the couch, can't he? It's like, yeah, go on then.
Just a few
Picks
weeks.
him up. 2 weeks, he's like, yeah, just 2 weeks. 3 months later.
3 months later.
Yeah,
He's
right on
still there,
SpongeBob.
cracking on FIFA with his headset. He's settled in like a week
Oh,
later.
wow.
What about the story when you came home and Clayton wasn't responding? He
Oh,
was.
mate. Me and Sarah went out.
Oh,
and,
no, yeah.
Clayton was using my keys. He kept locking me out. And he's falling
Cheers.
asleep and not waking up when I was pressing the bell. The bell is the loudest thing you'll ever hear.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Well, it's not to you, is it? It kept locking me out after work, so I was coming home like 5, 6, getting
I
back
felt
and
bad
being locked
'cause he
out
was
of my own
raging.
house. Like,
He'd be angry at me.
of course I'd be fucking angry. I've been out all day. And then anyway, it locked me out that day. It's Friday night. Locked me out at 6. Me and Sarah had gone out, and then come back. It's like 11. I was 11. Can see. He said, "I'm not going out. Don't worry. I'll be in. I can see the lights on. I can see the telly lights on the balcony." Fucking, we're stuck outside for about half an hour. Anyway, our next door neighbour comes in. Luckily, the door's open. Just gets us up to the floor. Go in the house, and he's just sat there. He looks like he's awake because he's asleep with his eyes
My
open.
eyes are open when I sleep.
Oh, it's so creepy. He's got his eyes open, so we're bawling at him, shouting, but he's just asleep. Just like comatose.
Just eyes rolls in the back of my head.
Comatose. And then Sarah goes over and she's like, "He's dead. He's dead." She starts crying, like screaming, crying, or whatever, not crying, but runs over. And I was like, "He's not fucking dead. He's just asleep." So I ran over to him and just volleyed him full on. He didn't even move once. I was like, "Oh my God."
He might be dead.
Volleyed him again. Just to make sure he's dead. Volleyed him again and he just goes, "Oh." It's like, "Oh, sorry, yeah, I was asleep." Like, how have you slept through that?
Went through it all, mate. Went through it all.
No, but it was good, wasn't it? Me and George had a little become like
Yeah,
our
it was a
brother, didn't
bromance.
you?
Yeah, it was a bromance, and
Yeah, no, it's been good.
yeah, I felt like I got adopted by two older brothers, like, and I can never thank you enough for it.
Nah.
100%. I was gonna say, well, that's part of the beauty of the club is that, like, you know, lads, we all look after each other. You're in a tight spot.
Yeah.
Jimmy stood up. and
Yeah, it was a family, and I can never be grateful enough for what Jimmy and George done for me that time, like.
Yeah, no, it's good. Good.
But no, it's
that's
Christmas,
another
New Year,
spleen,
man.
innit?
It made
Yeah, it was
it
so
made
good.
made my memories like it was fantastic.
that's our first episode wrapped up. Guerrilla Pod, Guerrilla Warfare, whatever you want to call it. Just want to say a huge thanks to Naz. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for the.
Yeah,
Final thoughts,
The
Naz?
accommodation.
We're not doing this in here again.
I think I'm going to stay here for the rest of the week.
Rest of the week.
I
Not
fly home
after
on
I've heard your
Monday.
fucking 3-month stint in there.
I'll fly home Monday, mate. We're all right.
Jesus.
Just
Yeah, I've
take
got
me
a
for the
flight,
weekend.
Yeah, I've got a flight, yeah.
Nah, yeah, no. Welcome anytime. We'll probably do a few more in here, I reckon, if Tucky's too busy doing some bullshit that he says he's doing, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to have the
stuff.
first episode here, you know.
Yeah, what an
I've
episode.
enjoyed that.
100%.
Yeah, it's been a good laugh. Thanks
thank-
for having me.
Big thanks to Jimmy.
Hello, thank you.
And last but not least, big thanks to Clayton. Been an
Thank you very
absolute
much,
pleasure.
guys.
Yeah,
Thank
well,
you.
You'll be a big loss to Sydney and the Gorillas, mate.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, boys.
pleasure.
Yeah, and you'll have to listen in
sure.
when you're back at home. Listen to the
Of
next
course.
few.
I'll
few
pass the pod.
Pass it on. Pass the pod.
I'll pass the pod.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'll be one of them situations where you're still in the chat groups and stuff, you know.
Yeah,
but,
for sure. I'm not fucking leaving.
Still so far. Yeah, exactly.
I'm
You
not
know?
fucking leaving.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, thank you for listening and join us next time.